Undefeated fighters Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart will gamble their perfect records against each other for the Continental, America's Heavyweight Championship. Coming up from the boardwalk in Atlantic City, it's Showtime Championship Boxing. And this is the convention center in Atlantic City as this huge crowd settles in for a night of boxing. Two heavyweights put their unblemished records on the line. Number one ranked contender, Evander Holyfield, out to defend his WBC Continental America's heavyweight title against Alex Stewart. Hello again, everybody. Steve Albert along with the fight doctor, Ferdy Pacheco, and welcome to another edition of Showtime Championship Boxing. Tonight, a tale of two fighters with two very distinct goals. For Evander Holyfield, it's Mike Tyson. For Alex Stewart, it's respect. Stewart, 24-0, 24 consecutive knockouts, yet Ferdy, who has he fought?
Well, he's like a grammar school student who wants to go to college. He hasn't learned his lessons, but Evander Holyfield is a college graduate.
Why would his handlers take this fight?
Well, Mike Jones is the kind of manager who builds a fighter and then figures, let's take my shot. Unless I get beaten badly, I'm in good contention. If he loses but loses well, as Dokes did, then he just gets in line for Tyson. There's such a scarcity of heavyweights around. But he could win, and then he's on the top of the heap.
What kind of a chance do you give Stewart tonight, Ferdy?
Well, as they say when desperation takes over, puncher's chance. He can punch, he can punch hard. I don't believe he's had the education to know how to deliver that punch to an expert boxer and a defender such as Evander Holyfield.
Well, Alex Stewart has to be considered the Rodney Dangerfield of boxing. Hopefully, this profile will help shed some light on that subject. There was never much doubt about the power with which Alex Stewart, the destroyer, could put away his opponents. And what could be better than a heavyweight knockout artist in this day and time?
My partner and I realized that Alex had the potential, was big and strong. He is a heavyweight knockout artist. Not necessarily the one-punch type heavyweight, knockout artist, but he's very heavy-handed. And he pounds his opponents into submission.
Knockouts galore, but the flaw in the strategy was the quality of opponents.
Our strategy did not backfire with Alex Stewart. Right? There's been criticism amongst the media that we brought him along in somewhat easy opposition. First, I'd like to set the record straight. We tried to get, at times, tougher opponents, like Tim Weatherspoon was offered $50,000. He turned it down. We tried to get Trevor Berbick. We tried to get Tillis. We tried to get better opposition.
Even after tying an American record with 24 consecutive knockouts, Stewart is still seeking credibility as a contender. A victory over the number one ranked challenger would earn him the respect he seeks.
I think Alex is going to live up to the task, and there's always a first time. No one could say that he can't do it because he's never been there before. After the fight, then people will say, well, okay, Holyfield had all those advantages, but Alex stood up against those advantages and was successful.
And here is the soft-spoken Alex Stewart making final preparations in his dressing room, moments away from the biggest fight of his life. Stewart may not get the respect he feels he deserves inside the ring, but outside the ring, it's a different story. Let's meet another side of Alex Stewart, family man and role model. In this high-stakes battle, one would not be surprised by the grit and determination with which Alex Stewart is approaching this fight. On the other hand, one may be somewhat perplexed by his level of confidence.
I don't think I can lose. I love what I do. I love to win. And I think winning this fight will set my career off as far as the public concerned, know me a lot more. And I think then I get the respect I deserve.
The 7 weeks of training camp are tough. not only on Alex, but on his wife Angie and their daughter Tennille. It is the occasional visits which serve as subtle reminders of how much the impending match means.
Oh, he's great with Tennille. She's a daddy's girl. She misses him terribly. Sometimes there are days when my daddy coming home, and I have to just keep telling her, well, daddy will be home soon, and when can I go and see my daddy?
She does things where you wouldn't even imagine a kid of 3-year-old could do. I'll give you an example. One day I was fighting in Greece Arena, so Tennille was there. And, I was walking down the aisle and she was up there, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. So I turned around and I leaned over to her and she said, hit him hard, Dad, hit him hard. I was dying. I was just laughing over the ring. And I just do what she said. I went in there, first punch, he was out.
Perhaps it's the love of kids that has Alex working towards his championship encounter, realizing that he could be helpful to many of the troubled youth who would look up to him.
Well, I like to be, because nowadays you find a lot of sports persons and they have problems with kids nowadays, I think, because you see a sports person, doing drugs, or you hear about it and he's in the front page and you say, Dad, it's a waste, because all these kids looking up to this guy and all of a sudden he takes drugs or he drives drunk. No, I've never driven drunk. I don't drink. I don't take drugs. I do everything what I think a world champion should do. I like to think, well, some kid will look at my example and follow it and don't take the wrong path. There always a choice. You're going to try to take the good path or the bad path. And if they take the good one, I hope that they look to me and say, well, he helped me along, at some point in my life. Well, I saw this guy here, or this kid, and I said to myself, I want to be like him. I want to do what he does. And they follow what I do, and eventually they lead a productive life, which would be nice.
Alex Stewart, dedicated family man. He receives loving support from his wife Angie and 3-year-old daughter Tennille, who are in the crowd. So respect as a fighter may be somewhat difficult to attain, but after hearing him speak, it's tough not to admire Alex Stewart as a person. This evening, wife and daughter on hand, along with the big crowd here at the Convention Center in Atlantic City to watch undefeated Evander Holyfield and Alex Stewart. Stewart, a 13-1 underdog. Meanwhile, Evander Holyfield in his dressing room, as imposing as ever, a man who always looks as if he were freshly chiseled from granite. And you have to believe, even though he's fighting an undefeated fighter, if he had his druthers, Ferdy, he would much rather be getting ready right now for a fellow by the name of Mike Tyson. But while he continues to wait for Tyson, Holyfield, to his credit, stays busy. What else can he do?
That's exactly what he must do. If he's ever going to get an edge on Tyson, it's continuously fighting, sharpening his skills, getting his conditioning right, so when he steps in with Tyson, he's at the peak of his form. Meanwhile, Tyson's running around trying to keep up with Don King's nightlife and fighting easy fights. If this goes on much longer, when they come in, it'll be even money.
And with that, we have an update for you on the much-anticipated showdown between Iron Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed heavyweight championship of the world.
Boxing's top prize. And Evander Holyfield has emerged as the most worthy challenger among the heavyweight contenders. But instead of battling Tyson, he must fight for recognition in a group that ranges from pretenders to preachers.
I think Tyson Foreman is probably the #1 fight fan show right at the moment. I think the media and the boxing experts will tell you Tyson Holyfield. But I'm not so sure really that Holyfield at the moment has the name throughout Middle America that will command the audience that George Foreman will.
Foreman has a bigger name than Evander Holyfield does. When Time magazine writes about a heavyweight fighter other than Mike Tyson. They write about Big George Foreman. There's a curiosity thing there. He's on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Evander Holyfield is a more serious fighter. He's the second best heavyweight in the world, but he hasn't caught the public's imagination yet.
Holyfield would probably be the best match, but Don King is holding off probably for a bigger payday.
The only fight that might be of any interest is Evander Holyfield, and I don't really think Holyfield could beat him. It might be interesting to see him fight 2 or 3 guys in one night. That might be the best of it all.
Without a doubt, this is the undisputed champion of the world. He claims he can beat any man alive. Iron Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield are on a collision course. Holyfield has earned the right to meet the champion. But for some reason, the road to the showdown has been filled with obstructions and detours. Why the delays?
Don King doesn't want it to happen right now because he's in control. He has the heavyweight champion, and the person who has control of that is the one that really makes the biggest decision. Number 2 is that it's just one of those things that all we can do is just keep fighting and get there on our ability, or on Evander's ability. And so it's going to come off. It's just a matter of time.
Don King is afraid that knows that Evander Holyfield is the only fighter who can beat Mike Tyson.
It seems at this point that Don King, and he said this to me, he feels that it needs a build-up. One wonders, though, if there are other motives here, whether King's enmity with the Duvas who are involved with Holyfield is part of his reason for not making this fight go right away.
Y'all been using me for the scapegoat for too long now. Don King is restraining. Don King is evading. Don King is preventing. Don King is stopping. He's blocking. Well, it's open no sesame now. You know what I mean? Come all ye heavy laden. You know, bring your burdens on and your purses, because we gonna whoop Evander Holyfield and give him a good old-fashioned Southern whooping, and he knows how that is.
Finally, Don King and Mike Tyson have agreed to accept the challenge of Evander Holyfield. Why did it take so long for them to acknowledge the #1 contender? Was it because King wanted to control Holyfield's future the way he does Tyson's?
I have never, ever asked for an option on Evander Holyfield. If one was offered to me and I thought that it was in the best interest of Mike Tyson, I would take it. But I've never asked for any options on Holyfield. There's never been a hold-up on options. There's never been an instrument of contention where we're concerned with Holyfield.
When the former cruiserweight king stepped up to the heavyweight ranks, he had to prove he belonged there. Holyfield's destruction of Michael Dokes served notice to the boxing world that he was the top contender, and began to convince King of the box office potential of Tyson versus Holyfield. For an encore, Holyfield flattened Adelson Rodriguez.
The fight is a vintage fight now, and it's time now to really start promoting, and it still needs a lot of more hot sauce, but we're going to put that in there, as you said, in salsa, in Hispanic, in Latin, in Spanish, you know what I mean, in caliente. We're going to make it a hot fight, a muy grande la pelea. So what we got to do now is it's time to get it on. He get by Stewart, then it's time for him to get ready for the undefeated, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the baddest man on planet Earth, the baddest man in the universe.
Team Tyson has picked up the gauntlet. So when will we see the showdown?
We want Evander Holyfield, and we want to be able to get him sometime in the very near future. There ain't but 2 pay-per-view dates to go on. It's June or November, and so Evander Holyfield certainly will be on one of them, preferably on June. So if we can work out all the little details and what the Duvas can do their little Indian dance and make themselves important, then we can make the match and do it as quickly as we possibly can. So there's no more playing around now. It's all over, Dan. It's all over, Lou. Get ready to bring your gladiator to the center of the ring, and we will be right there to meet him live and in living color.
Well, as they say, you heard it here first. We should point out that those remarks by Don King came before Mike Tyson took ill, thus forcing postponement of the November 18th fight with Razor Ruddock in Edmonton. Now, we spoke to Don King today from London, and here is what he told us. Tyson Ruddock will take place in January. We also have a commitment to fight Buster Douglas. If Holyfield wins tonight, then Tyson Holyfield will be in June or in the fall of 1990. If Evander beats Stewart dramatically, my preference is June. He also said, quote, Mike wants Holyfield, unquote. But to the business at hand, do you think there's a possibility that Holyfield could be looking ahead beyond Alex Stewart to Mike Tyson, really falling into a trap?
He's incapable of that. Evander Holyfield's the most focused fighter that I've ever seen. He takes one fight at a time. He gets in there, he tries to get out as fast as he can and go home because he is every inch a fighter.
All right. Speaking of inches, we talk about numbers. We're getting closer and closer to the fight, and let us take a look at the tail of the tape. It's kind of intriguing, too. Holyfield looks bigger than Stewart, yet he weighs a fair amount less. Holyfield 212, Stewart 223. You recall his last fight, Holyfield 14 pounds lighter than Adelson Rodriguez, yet he crushed him in the second round. To the rules. They'll go by the 10-point mush system, 3 scoring judges, the standing 8 count in effect, no 3 knockdown rule. That's being waived for this fight, and a fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. How do Holyfield and Stewart feel about each other entering tonight's fight? We spoke to both men earlier in the week.
I don't look past Alex Stewart. My goal is to be the heavyweight champion of the world. Alex Stewart is just happened to be in the way, and I have to take care of him to get the heavyweight title, so I'm not looking past him, but looking through him.
He's trying to be Superman. He's trying to move up into the weight and take on Mike Tyson and try to be a heavyweight champ too. Undisputed too. So I'm saying right now, I want to be a heavyweight champ, and the only person stopping me is Holyfield.
He's not going to show no mercy out there. I mean, why hang around? Why try and outbox him? Why try and look good? Get it over with and get out of the ring so the other guy can't hit you on the chin.
Evander has strengths, great strengths. He has also great weaknesses. So our plan is going to be developed by exploiting the weaknesses and avoiding the strengths.
What I'm going to have Holyfield do is keep pressure on him, keep pressure on him, and keep pressure on him. One thing I do know is this, that he's never been under pressure. And I know that's going to bother him. This has got to bother him because I don't think he's got the experience to handle pressure.
I want a knockout. I want a knockout. I don't want a mercy. I want a knockout.
And here comes the challenger, 25-year-old Alex the Destroyer Stewart. Despite a record of 24-0 with 24 knockouts, a much maligned heavyweight. The boxing public is not convinced. The WBA is. He's rated number
Okay, Joey, I'm gonna move Steve over here.
Alex Stewart, a 13-1 underdog, makes his entrance into the ring. He says, I can't afford to lose this fight. This is the turning point of my career. It is do or die. You talk about putting pressure on yourself. Alex Stewart. He's got the impressive stats, but the public asking, who has he fought? He does have something in common with Holyfield. He was in the same Summer Olympics, 84. He fought for Jamaica, Holyfield representing the United States. But the similarities end there. Stewart off an August 10th bout in New York. He stopped Terry Armstrong in the third. After the fight, Armstrong said, I feel sorry for Alex when he gets in there with Tyson or Holyfield. He won't last 4 rounds with Holyfield, and I'll put money on it. So he doesn't even get respect for fighters he's whooped. the Continental America's heavyweight belt in the background. Tonight, Holyfield's 5th heavyweight bout, 4-0, all by KO, beating James Quick Killis, Pinkman Thomas, Michael Dokes, and Adelson Rodriguez. And the crowd saluting Evander Holyfield. Against Rodriguez, he laid to rest any doubts that he possesses a heavyweight punch and knockout power. Meanwhile, the heavy-handed Alex Stewart waits. Time now for the introductions. We go to ring announcer Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Atlantic City's Convention Hall by way of the Trump Plaza Hotel Casino here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. This bout is a presentation of the Trump Plaza Main Events Monitor and Madison Square Garden Boxing. It is sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board and the World Boxing Council. Boxing Commissioner here in the state of New Jersey is Larry Hazard Sr., the Deputy Commissioner, Lawrence Wallace, and the Chairman is Jerry Gormley. Representing the WBC is Roy Van Putten. In attendance here at ringside, assigned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, are the 3 judges. They will be doing the scoring on a 10-point must system. And they are Richard F. Murray, William Kostrub, and Rocky Castellani. Chief physician at ringside, Dr. Frank B. Doggett. Also in attendance, Doctors Charles Wilson and Stanley Eden. The timekeeper for all the bouts is Roosevelt Gilbert. And counting for the knockdown seconds is Ted Pick. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Donald Trump's Trump Plaza Hotel Casino in Atlantic City, let's get ready to rumble. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBC Continental America's Heavyweight Championship. The referee for this bout is Tony Perez. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing the black trunks with gold trim, and he weighed in at an even 223 pounds from Brooklyn, New York. Undefeated as a professional, 24 consecutive victories, 24 consecutive knockouts. He's ranked number 2 in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenger tonight, Alex the Destroyer Stewart. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with black trim, he weighed an even 212 pounds. From Atlanta, Georgia, also undefeated, 22-0, 18 KOs. He's the number 1 ranked heavyweight in the world and currently holds the WBC Continental America's Heavyweight Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Evander, the real deal, Holyfield.
One thing you must remember, protect yourself at all times. If you score a knockdown, I'm going to put you in the farthest ultra corner. Don't come out because I'm going to... Okay? Now, the bell will not save anybody in any round, okay? No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The 3 knockdown rule is being waived. Shake hands and good luck to both of you. Protect yourself at all times.
Sometimes the magnitude of the evening and the unusual importance is reflected in the eyes of the fighter. This is called freezing up or getting cold. You see a little bit of worry. You don't see that frozen look yet on the eyes of Alex Stewart. We will see as the bell rings whether he is indeed frozen or whether he's in his natural fighting style.
Round 1 scheduled for 12. Evander Holyfield in the red trunks with the black trim. Alex Stewart in the black trunks with the gold trim. Stewart much taller, but Holyfield is filled out from the waist up, and he's much bigger in the upper body than is Stewart. He's got great punching power on his big shoulders of his, has Holyfield. He's got a stiff jab out right now. Stewart has never really been in this kind of a high-profile situation before. You know, he's had most of his fights at the Felt Forum, which is more like a club atmosphere. So the question is, how will he react tonight?
So many times you see a big opportunity come and it freezes a fighter right in the strikes. Right now, he's certainly not fighting with his usual style and abandon. He's eating these jabs of Holyfield's, which is a bad news because the right hand will follow shortly.
Holyfield generally starts off slowly. By that, perhaps he needs the first round to heat up, and then things could get shaky for his opponent.
Well, he's firing bombs right now. He has been set out to put pressure of the kind that he's not used to getting. Stewart, opening up to getting that pressure.
With combinations is Evander Holyfield to the face of Alex Stewart.
And Stewart's got to fight back for a little bit more power than he's been doing. He's punching with tentative punches in Stewart, whereas Evander Holyfield is punching with everything he's got.
Stewart, a combination boxer fighter. Eddie Futch told me he had Stewart work more on the fighting part in preparation for Holyfield. Another combination by Evander Holyfield.
You see the fast hands of Holyfield and the inability of Alex Stewart to block him.
Holyfield extremely quick, very effective jab, superior hand speed.
Once Evander Holyfield establishes that 1-2, the next thing is the 3, which is a left hook following that zinging right hand. That's what usually knocks you out.
It's the right that ended things for Rodriguez in his last fight, the second round. Holyfield digging to the ribs of Stewart.
Sometimes that adrenaline starts pumping so much it makes you tired before you even start. He looks tired already.
But Stewart taking some punishment to the face. He has only been knocked down once against a fighter named Conroy Nelson. But he got up to win that fight in the second round. Stewart looking for the confidence to get past the first round. And maybe that will carry him along somewhat. Heading for the bell. And 1 round complete. And you got to go with Holyfield in round 1.
Oh, that's a definite round for Holyfield. He established everything he wanted to do. He established the jab. He established the pace. And while Alex Stewart doesn't look frozen like a block of ice, he certainly doesn't look like he's in his natural rhythm or fighting with a great deal of strength. He's tentative in what he does.
When you hit a guy here, come back up with a hook. You hear me? He likes to do this, right? So you make me, you hit me here. Come with the hook middle, right? Because he can't catch both of them. He can catch one, he can't catch two of them. You hear me?
Virouette giving advice, maybe too many pieces of advice to be able to be absorbed by Alex Stewart. And now, in his quiet way, Eddie Futch is saying a few words.
And Lou Duva in front of Holyfield. Round 2 scheduled for 12. Alex Stewart is actually seeking an American record here. Should he knock Holyfield out, it would be number 25 from the start of a career. He's currently tied with Mac Foster for 24 consecutive knockouts at the start of a career. The world record, Jose Manuel Ibar of Spain, 30. And here comes Holyfield.
Stewart opened that round much better than he opened the first one. He was punching hard. He thought he had himself a piece of cake till he got a couple of counter punches, hard, zinging punches by Holyfield. But he is punching much better and with much more authority as Stewart.
Stewart 6'3", 223. Holyfield 6'2 and a half and 212. Does Stewart look scared to you?
Yes, he looks a little apprehensive. There's a trickle of blood from someplace. I see a little mark of blood. I don't know where that's coming from on Stewart. There's no cut. There's where the blood's coming from. Right eye of Stewart. Nice size cut. Can't see it clearly yet.
They're right above us now. Overhand right by Stewart. A grazing punch, though. Stewart just winding up and missing.
Stewart is missing, but he is pitching bombs. And remember, this guy can punch. He's got a puncher's chance. Anybody that knocked out 24 guys can punch.
Even if he loses tonight, do you think he could still come out not looking like a loser?
Too early to tell. Too early to tell. Right now, off of where he's going, off of this round, he's looking good.
Stewart throwing bombs.
He certainly shook the cobwebs off.
And landing with that right, Stewart. It wasn't that powerful, though. So this has to be a confidence builder for Alex Stewart.
The cut on the eye does not appear to be that bad. It is not bleeding profusely. It's more of a nick than a big cut on the right eye of Stewart, but it's not good news in the second round.
Well, if Stewart can get past the second round, it'll be more than the last fight because Rodriguez was KO'd by Holyfield in round 2. Less than 30 seconds.
Well, he's punching with everything he's got as Stewart, and he's landed a couple of good shots, but they don't seem to have an effect on Evander Holyfield.
Stewart is dazed.
Stewart in big trouble for Stewart, but the bell will save him.
Stewart survives the second. Could have been a goner had it been earlier in the round.
No problem. No problem.
That bell saved him completely.
Got it. How you feel?
Just when it looked like he was getting his plan together and landing punches, he got nailed by Holyfield, and he steps up the gas. There's nobody that finishes like Evander Holyfield when you're in trouble. Watch this series of punches. That's the right hand that got him in trouble. Now comes all the other punches. One after the other, raining on Alex, and Alex does not know how to cover up. Let's watch this clearly. That punch. You see the leg come up, all nerves start to jangle, and you seek the desire to lay on the canvas.
How many times have we seen the devastating right hand of Evander Holyfield? Round 3, scheduled for 12. Let's see if Holyfield can pick up where he left off. And let's see how Stewart responds.
You have to see if Stewart is intimidated by that little shellacking he got at the corner at the end of that round. His corner seemed very worried. It's a babble of voices, but they took care of the cut very well.
Alex Stewart seeking respect. He's
very low punch. Excuse me, very low punch by Stewart. And Tony comes over and says, keep your punches up, but that don't ease the pain.
Stewart has never lost, but of course his opponents have been questioned over and over again.
Holyfield in a very lazy posture. I don't understand why he's doing that unless he's trying to lull Stewart.
There's the jab shot out by Holyfield.
He has not tried an uppercut yet, and yet Stewart is leaning in, ready to get hit by a nice uppercut.
Little blood trickling from the right nostril of Stewart.
Evander Holyfield follows instructions very well. Duva screaming, double up that jab, and just as he says it, Evander Holyfield does it.
They want Holyfield to spin Stewart around.
Well, they want him to give him angles to turn, not to stand in front of him. Why get hit by a guy that can punch as hard as he can when you can turn around, spin him, and punch him at the same time? Evander's very good at that, but he's gotten lazy this time. He's just confident that he can put this guy out. He's standing right in front waiting for his shot, for his opening. There's the uppercut we talked about. That's open all night.
A short, crisp uppercut by Holyfield. There's the double up of the jab by Holyfield.
Again, turn, screams Georgie Benton. Duva echoing, good, solid right hand by Evander Holyfield right on the chin of Stewart. Stewart firing back.
Stewart able to come back with a combination.
No dog in Stewart. He's brave. He's up there.
He's standing right in against Holyfield.
He's putting it out punch by punch. You certainly can't criticize his courage.
Less than 20 seconds, round 3. A solid shot to the midsection of Stewart. Final seconds of the third. Oh, and a heavy right by Stewart that caught Holyfield on the chin. It's getting interesting. 3 rounds complete. The only time Alex Stewart went down was back in July of 1988. Here's an Alex Stewart flashback. This is the first time he tasted the canvas against a boxer by the name of Conroy Nelson. It was a first-round knockdown, and let's see what did it.
There's the uppercut, turned his head, and down he went. He's open for an uppercut. It's evident, and it's just a question of time before Georgie Benton spots that in the corner and says to Evander, go for the uppercut. Load up on it because he's available for it.
But Stewart came back with a TKO on the second that night.
Just keep on top of it now. You got me covered. But you turn a little more. You're standing too much in front of him. Turn.
You don't be trying to load up, and then you'll see the shot load up. But just keep hustling. You got me?
Be patient, homie. Be patient.
Round 4 scheduled for 12.
Stewart, no evidence of any freezing, no evidence of any fear, no evidence of anything except a man bent on a big upset. He's held his own, although he's lost every round. And he is fraught with danger. His punches are right there.
He's gotten to the point where he is sometimes antagonistic with regard to the lack of respect. He says, I've been treated by Holyfield people as if I didn't even exist, like Alex is a schoolboy who doesn't know how to fight. Somebody has to pay for that. And I can't wait to see the looks on people's faces after I win this fight. From Atlantic City's Convention Center, Steve Albert and the Fight Doctor, Ferdy Pacheco. It is round 4 of this WBC Continental America's heavyweight fight. The championship held by Holyfield is his second defense, and Alex Stewart undefeated, 24-0 with 24 knockouts.
Again, Holyfield standing right in front of Alex, who is not shy about putting that right hand in there. Whether he misses or whether he loads up on it, he is throwing that right hand. And Evander is not following his corner's advice. He is not giving him angles. He's not turning him, but he's standing right in front. I think he's getting a little impatient. He wants this thing to be over with, and he is not having trouble putting away Stewart. Stewart is not going anywhere.
Stewart told me the keys to winning tonight are, number 1, press Holyfield, and number 2, take room and time from Holyfield. Stewart can't give him the room and time to punch. And he is causing a little consternation, a little frustration now as far as Holyfield.
Is being patient. He's doing his work. He is not sacrificing the body. He's punching the body, and then the only thing he has let up on is that one good uppercut he landed. He's not repeated it yet.
Both fighters in tremendous condition. Of course, Holyfield with the high-tech scientific approach to endurance strength. Alex Stewart uses the Islanders fitness coach, the hockey team, and he uses many of the same methods as Holyfield.
Both men are in good condition. The cut has not reopened, has not been a factor in this at all. It's there, it's a little nick, but it's being well taken care of by the corner.
And round 4 will be history. 4 rounds complete in Atlantic City. Well, Evander Holyfield, not only a star in the ring, but he is starred on the Super Dave Osborne show, seen right here on Showtime, one of the great daredevils of our time, Super Dave Osborne. Evander Holyfield breaking into acting. acting as well these days.
You got to know when this guy is out punching you. You understand? You got to realize it. See, when you see him out punching you, you just open up, right? Don't let him out hustle you. You got me covered? Yeah. All right. Hey, you got to start punching in there. Don't get lazy.
We'll take a look at Ferdy's score sheet. And you've got it all, Evander Holyfield.
Yes, but that last round was very even and could well have been Alex Stewart's. I just thought the punches of Evander Holyfield were sharper, more diversified, landing better. But it was an even round as Alex Stewart shows no signs of giving up, and he's getting stronger.
It is round number 5, scheduled for 12. Evander Holyfield, the number 1 ranked heavyweight contender. Alex Stewart rated number 2 by the WBA. And looking to prove himself and gain respect tonight.
Well, if he keeps this up,
he will.
If he keeps this up, he will improve his chances in the heavyweight ranks that are slim, because he is not disgracing himself at all.
Well, Eddie Futch certainly has a lot of confidence in Mr. Stewart. This is the second time he's been with him. He was with him in his pro debut, and he came back to advise him for this fight. So he's got a lot of credibility in his corner, that's for sure.
Well, he has an excellent corner. Edward Burroughs was a very fine boxer, and his training and his advice has been good, and Mike Jones is a great motivator. He can really holler and convince you. So he's got a good corner, and so has Holyfield.
Prior to this fight, Stewart had never been extended beyond the 4th round. This is the first time he's ever had to go past 4.
So far, if there's a decisive edge in all this, it's that Holyfield is the leader in the fight. Oh, good shot by Stewart. Right on the head. Another good range. Holyfield standing still, not moving.
A dazed look on the face of Holyfield, as if to say, what's going on here?
Well, what's going on is he's standing still, and Alex is teeing off. He's standing right in front of him.
A right uppercut by Stewart. Got in there. By Stewart, now Holyfield.
I mean, he's getting Holyfield getting nailed by every right hand. There's another one. And he has got Holyfield just hanging on.
Holyfield looks bewildered. What an upset is right. Under a minute left in round 5.
And back comes Holyfield. And how often we've seen this in a Dokes fight.
Was Holyfield playing possum? Shades of the Dokes fight.
Absolutely, but he was taking some shots. None of that could have done him any good. He came back because he's got such a fighting heart.
A reckless right by Stewart almost cost him.
2 good hooks by Stewart. There's a right hand by Stewart. And Holyfield again dragging.
Under 30 in the 5th. What a round for Stewart.
Stewart got this fight in his hands. Can he take it?
That was a grazing right by Alex Stewart.
What a round for Alex Stewart. He's taking this one big.
Doing? Yeah.
This should be interesting.
You know what you're doing. Well, don't do it no more. You understand?
Don't be a hero out there and take shots, goddammit. You get out there and you punch.
Okay, now listen. You go for this guy now, and you catch them punches up and just get back with the combination. And you'll take him out of here. You understand? Now listen.
Come on, he's busted up now. Come on.
You don't have to jump around so much.
Holyfield took a lot of shots in that 5th round.
Here is Stewart. And Stewart is starting to pump in these shots. Now watch how they land. That right hand should have knocked anybody out. And he just kept pumping that whole round. Evander Holyfield went to sleep on him. Let him get brave. This is what's called in boxing. Don't let your opponent get brave. And he took the round in magnificent style to Alex Stewart. And all of a sudden, folks, we got a fight.
And that's the first time I've ever heard Holyfield berated in the corner by Lou Duva. Round 6 scheduled for 12. Stewart coming off his best round of the fight. And let's see how Holyfield responds. Never thought we'd be saying that.
Well, we've seen how Holyfield responds to problems, because Dokes gave him all he could take, and just when it looked like he was going, he would come back with furious flurries.
left just missed by Holyfield.
And that one was loaded like an atom bomb.
Lightning quick, too.
And he runs into 2, 3, 4 punches by Stewart.
Left uppercut by Holyfield. That dug in.
Now Holyfield's fighting like the number 1 contender.
He's really upset. He's fighting angry. Holyfield looking to pull it out.
This is vintage Holyfield. Focused, concentrated, looking for his knockout.
But Stewart showing he can take it. Can he continue to withstand this punishment?
I think he's leaning toward the canvas. His legs are weak. He's got blood all over his face.
Stewart better be careful.
Stewart is caving in. And who wouldn't under this barrage?
Stewart is staggered with 1:40 and counting in round 6. Stewart can hardly stand.
Stewart is a whip fighter right now.
One punch could end it. There's blood all over Stewart's face.
But the question is, the punch comes from whom? Because Stewart has still got that punching power.
This must seem like the longest round ever for Stewart.
Oh, there was the uppercut that we talked about, right on the button.
Look at the blood coming out of the right eye of Alex Stewart. He is bleeding profusely.
Now his face is a mask of blood as Evander Holyfield is punch-shotting. He's just taking his time. He's looking for the openings. He is being very accurate. If there's one thing that marks Evander Holyfield's style, it's his ability to close. Finish the show.
Can Stewart make it through the 6th? His right eye a bloody mess.
Alex trying to fight back. Oh, there's the uppercut again.
Holyfield, his jaw quivering.
There's the uppercut again.
What a right uppercut by Holyfield.
It's there all night if he wants to land it.
Heading for the bell. Stewart will make it. As the blood oozes out from the right eye, and cutman Al Gavin will have to go to work.
What a shellacking.
Frank Doggett, the doctor.
And he's got his work cut out for him and has the corner. Let's listen to that corner.
It's all right, Doc.
It's all right. Don't worry, Doc. It's all right. How do you feel?
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Stop with the water. Wipe, you got a towel, wipe him with the towel.
Only one guy in the corner, fellows. Only one guy inside.
Wipe his face.
Look, this guy box. Don't stay in there with him. You're tired. What are you standing in there for? Box.
Jimmy, let me work on you.
Action from the 6th.
As you can see, that uppercut, which we have been talking about, is open all night long, and Evander has now taken advantage. The whistle blows, Doggett goes out, and it's going to be another round 7 for the weary Alex Stewart.
Stewart waiting for every last second to get up from the stool.
His legs do not look like they have any bounce at all. Those heavy body shots that Evander has been putting in has robbed young Alex Stewart of his legs.
Stewart's energy just set, but he loads up with the right.
Why not? He might as well take his chance. He might as well take his shot, because if this goes into steady condition, it's one man who knows his business teaching another who's learning.
And Holyfield throwing darts at the cut right now. He's got a big target. Stewart showing a lot of courage. Right uppercut by Holyfield.
Both men now showing some signs of weariness, although Holyfield, having administered the beating, is the fresher of the two. Ooh. What a load. What a load that was.
Not many. Ooh, a right by Alex Stewart. Not many people thought it would go this far. He thought Holyfield would dispose of Stewart early.
Holyfield dogging a little bit this time, indicating that last round took a lot out of him. He did everything he could under the sun to get Alex Stewart out of here, and he did not succeed. And here's Stewart, tired as he is, still throwing as much as he can, hoping to turn this around with one punch.
Stewart converting a lot of disbelieving people.
Again, blood pouring out of the cut.
Now the infighting and the uppercuts.
Someone had better teach Alex Stewart what to do about uppercuts. Anyone watching this will start practicing uppercuts if they're going to fight Alex Stewart.
If Stewart comes out of this learning anything, that will be it.
Well, you know, you learn that you've got a lot to learn. And if you understand that, then it's back to the drawing board. He's young, he's strong, to fight good, and this fight is not over.
As the blood continues to stream from the right eye of Stewart. Brother, it is coming down.
It's a kind of cut that you can't do much about. No matter what you put in there, it's going to keep pumping, it's going to keep bleeding. Holyfield giving Alex Stewart a parole for this round. He's just giving him a pass. Possibly because he's tired and trying to get his strength together for the final onslaught next round.
Left uppercut. Holyfield found the opening.
Boy, there's another one. Those uppercuts are coming from the boardwalk.
And round 7 is in the books. And they go right to the eye.
Don't get disqualified. Come on down.
Your docket is back.
Yeah, you're the boss.
It's not one of them mics. It has to be underneath that. But you can't put it in front of while they're working on it. They're trying to work on it. You put the mic in front of while they're working on it. Keep the mic in front of while they're working on it.
Dr. Doggett conferring with Tony Perez now.
Excuse me.
Doggett has a little perturbed because they would not let him in to examine the cut, which of course is not right. The doctor should be allowed to come in and take a look at the cut. Too many hands in that corner, too many people talking at one time. And Alex looks like a weary fighter. His mouth open, he's breathing hard, the bell rang and it took every last second before he got up.
It's just impossible to stop the cut. Round 8 scheduled for 12. But Stewart continues to defy the odds, missed with that right, and he hangs in there with that vicious cut, with blood streaking down his face.
Again, Evander standing straight in front of him. And I'll tell you one thing, if he does that to Tyson, he'll fly out over the Atlantic. I mean, he has to give angles, he has to turn. Oh, no control over the legs of Stewart. He's just having a hard time just standing upright.
Holyfield with the jab now. Looking to set up the monster right. Let's see.
And this is the point where the cornermen holler, "You first." You see the weariness, the inability to control his legs. Those body shots. Oh, another great uppercut. Those body shots of Holyfield are thunderous. Oh,
to the midsection.
You can hear that one without a mic all the way across the United States.
Holyfield just digging in. But Stewart stays on his feet.
Stewart is a brave fighter. He is being worn down like a battering ram against the gate. He is being slowly ground down, and there is no hope for him except to stand there and take it. His punches are ineffective now. They don't have that danger that they had earlier when he had a great round in the 5th.
And that is another major characteristic of Evander Holyfield. He knows how to wear people down with an accumulation of punches.
He is patient, above all patient.
Going for the money was Alex Stewart. And the right uppercut, you saw it by Holyfield. To snap Stewart's head back.
It's evident that as soon as Holyfield perceives an opening or a weakness, he exploits it all night long. He does not pardon you. Alex right now, and he certainly is losing this fight handily. Alex Stewart, he's fighting back. And although the cut looks bad, it's up to the doctor to decide whether to cut it, to stop the fight. Stewart right now is still in this fight. He's still punching. He still has the ability. You cannot, with any judgment, stop the fight right now as long as he's fighting back.
The doctor has the authority to stop the fight, as does the referee.
As does the corner. I mean, if you have...
What's Tony Perez doing now?
I don't know. That's call the doctor and look at the cut time. Too much. The doctor said, dog, it says 2 hours, and that is it. Holyfield has won. No question about it. Alex Stewart went to school, and he got a lesson. I was about to say his corner should stop it. When you have a valuable property like Alex Stewart can be, why let him get demoralized and beaten and maybe never be the same fighter again? Why not just say, we've got to cut, let's go, we'll have better days, and forget about it. As far as I can see, Alex Stewart has the makings of a good heavyweight. He must go out and fight good fighters. He must learn his lesson slowly. The big jump to Evander was too much for him. He is a grammar school kid in a college environment here, but I do believe that he is good contender material with a scarcity of heavyweights there, bringing him along with fights where he will learn he could be a contender inside of a year and fight a rematch with Holyfield, and if it comes to that, finally fight Tyson if it has to.
And he has shed that Rodney Dangerfield tag.
Yes, you're right. I think he earned the respect of everyone watching this tonight. He had his chance. He looked good in the 5th. It looked like he was coming on, but Evander Holyfield is a concentrated, focused fighter.
So here in round 8, a technical knockout for Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield raising his record to 23-0 with 19 knockouts. He's now 5-0 as a heavyweight, all by KO. Meanwhile, they attend to the eye area of Alex Stewart. Dogged determination by Stewart, but Holyfield was just too much. Holyfield had his difficulty from time to time earlier on in the fight, but then he took charge. We'll get the official word in just a moment. Has to go down, though, as a moral victory for Alex Stewart. Although he lost the fight, he did gain a lot of respect here tonight. And I'm sure a lot of respect from this man, Evander Holyfield. Michael Buffer has the official time.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to a very severe cut on the right eye of Alex Stewart, Chief Ringside Physician Dr. Frank B. Doggett advised referee Tony Perez to stop the bout. The official time, 2 minutes, 51 seconds of the 8th round. The winner, and still Continental America's heavyweight champion, still #1 contender, Evander Real Deal Holyfield. And ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for a great display of courage. A severe cut. Let's hear it for Alex Stewart from Brooklyn, New York.
The crowd appreciating the efforts of Alex Stewart. They continue to work on the cut over the right eye. So his consecutive knockout streak comes to an end at 24. The American record would have been 25.
Be back.
Ferdy Pacheco is ready in the ring.
Come on. We're in the ring waiting for Duva and Evander to come over. We've got, he took his time taking care of Stewart. Why shouldn't he take his time coming over? Evander, disappointment or satisfied with your performance?
Well, I did the best I could today. Still very tough. And, I don't make no excuses about anything.
You looked like you stood right in front of him, especially in the 5th round where you got off some wonderful shots. Did any of that, were you tired? Were you just, your mind wander? What happened to you?
Well, I couldn't get myself motivated like his first time I ever been in a match where I couldn't get things clicking. But I just tried to hang in there the best I could.
When you found that you can land an uppercut, it was obvious in the very first rounds, and then when you found it, it seemed like you were doing terrific amount of damage with your uppercut.
Well, yeah, I watched Stewart on the tapes, and I know that he had a good jab, and he sent himself all the way out, and so that would enable me to hit him with a good right uppercut, and I was landing very often.
You're a well-conditioned fighter. Did it seem to you that you were kind of easing up in one of those rounds, resting between rounds? I mean, toward the end, you seemed to ease up one round, and you came back real hard and stopped them in the next one.
Well, I couldn't get myself together like I usually do. I'm waiting for the second win. I'm pushing myself, and I find myself getting lazy. And Alex Stewart, a game fighter, I can't take nothing from him, but he's a very game fighter.
I think he gained a great deal of respect. All the people that sneered at this fight, including me, I must say were wrong. He came in and gave you all you can handle.
Well, yeah, first of all, I'd like to thank God for the victory.
Excellent. Now, let's see if we can look on the monitor a minute and see if you can see these uppercuts. And you can see the kind of opening that he had, leaning in. Look at that. It just seemed like it was so open for you, and there was the uppercut. Look at his head flying with a punch.
I was able to hit him the uppercut, but I wasn't able to get the left hook, and he had his hand very high. The guy got a pretty good defense. He was faster than a lot of people get him credit for. He has a good jab.
What do you think his future is after a good showing like this?
I think Alex Stewart got a good future. I think he could beat a lot of guys out there. I might have to take my hat off. The guy came out to fight. He had something to prove, and he really proved that he's a good fighter. And he deserved to be in the top 10.
Well, you're in like the old gunfighters. Everybody's looking for you, and you got to keep taking care of business every 3 months. But the good news is that's going to put you in some terrific good shape by the time you get in with Tyson.
Yes, I will be in shape, and I pray to God I'll be in better shape than I am today.
All right, Lou Duva, one of the manager of Evander Holyfield. Were you satisfied with the performance?
No, really not. He was tough out there. Yeah, I knew Stewart was going to be tough. I knew that he wasn't going to be an easy fight. A young kid out there, 24 knockouts out of 24 fights. And regardless of what they said about the opponents, the guy can punch. And that's what I was concerned about. But I knew that Evander would beat him with up punches, what we call up punches, the uppercut and sure left hook. I thought that he was a little lax. I thought he could have snapped his punches a little more, which he didn't do.
Will a fight like this help you in conditioning and training Evander so that when he gets into Tyson, he'll be at top form?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, when you fight a Tyson, you fight a different style, number one. We'll get him in good physical shape, and he was in good physical shape tonight. He just was a little lax in what he did. But when it comes down to a Tyson fight, it's going to be an entirely different fight, and we'll fight an entirely different style.
Another fight in 3 months or so?
Well, in the next couple of weeks, we'll know.
All right. Thank you very much, Luduba. Again, a good job in the corner. Congratulations. And now for a very game fighter who won all the respect of the public, Mike Jones. I want to tell you, you were right. I was wrong. This is some kind of fight.
Thank you, Bertie. We're proud of him.
You fought very valiantly. You fought very well. You went to school a little bit, but you had a big 5th round. Did you think you could get him then?
Yeah, I thought I could hurt him, but I hurt my hand. I make no excuse. He fought a good fight. I give him all the respect there is. I think he deserved it tonight. He was a better performer. I just couldn't perform right.
Oh, you performed very well considering you're in with the #1 contender of the world. You have a good future in boxing. I hope you have continued success. Thank you very much for a good fight. And back to Steve at ringside.
For our West Coast audience, please stay tuned to Showtime for more terrific programming. A reminder to our West Coast viewers, tonight at 10 p.m. Pacific time, you'll see an encore presentation of Holyfield versus Stewart. Evander Holyfield stopping Alex Stewart, 2:51 of the 8th round. Steve Albert with Ken Sanders, the manager of Evander Holyfield. We spoke to you in Tahoe in July, the last time Holyfield fought prior to tonight when he stopped Adelson Rodriguez in the 2nd round. You talked about a winner-take-all situation. Recall that night? Is it still on, Ken?
Well, it's still on. Anything to get Tyson into the ring. First of all, nobody never asked me to go in details about winner-take-all, including Don King, who's made 10,000 remarks about. But whatever we have to do to get Tyson in the ring, we'll do.
Well, recently we spoke to Don King about that subject. Ken, let's hear what King had to say. Listen.
Good.
We accept to take all the money that Evander Holyfield will make, and we will cover it. And we will take that winner will take all. That will cover the bet. This is what we will do. Anything, any amount that Evander Holyfield makes, we will cover so that Tyson will either lose that much and the title, or Evander Holyfield will go back home to Georgia on a midnight train without no money.
Now that doesn't sound like winner take all, Ken. That sounds like double or nothing favoring Mike Tyson.
Well, that's Don King talking. Don King says what he wants to say. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. The main thing he needs to do is get Mike Tyson in the ring. Evander was not feeling well tonight. He fought. That's all I can tell you.
Now, you're very heavy into negotiations with Showtime right now, we understand. Tell us about that.
Well, Showtime is the main reason that Evander Holyfield is one of the top heavyweights in the world. They gave him more exposure. They promoted him better than anybody in the world. And we've just made a multi-fight deal with Showtime starting in 1990.
Well, based on Holyfield's performance tonight, I'm sure you thought he would dispose of Stewart a lot earlier. Do you think he is ready right now for Mike Tyson?
Well, he's been ready for Mike Tyson for a pretty good while. As far as his performance tonight, I think people expect too much of a man every time he goes into the ring because you think he's going to win. He won, as far as I'm concerned, every round, and you know, you can't be your best every time you go in there. You got to give the other man some credit, and the bottom line is he won, and that's the most important thing.
Did you have any moments during the fight where you had to hold your breath?
I started holding my breath before the fight started, and I'm still nervous.
Were you surprised by the performance tonight of Alex Stewart after seeing him fight and reading all the clippings, all the Rodney Dangerfield jokes about him getting no respect? Did this fight raise your eyebrows?
Well, I really didn't know what to expect. I've never seen Alex fight, and you know, we go into every fight thinking, look, it's a 12-round fight, and the best man is going to win the 12 rounds. Alex went 8 rounds, and yeah, I guess you know, we expect Evander to win the first round every time, but we're not disappointed by no means. We've been disappointed if he'd lost.
All right, what happens now as far as Evander Holyfield is concerned? Where does he go from here? Not only, you know, as far as Mike Tyson is concerned, but geographically in his training, where does he go from here?
Well, first of all, we will fight on Showtime the latter part of February, the 1st of March, and Evander will take about 60 days off, and then he'll go back into training to Houston.
Ken Sanders, manager of Evander Holyfield, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Evander Holyfield does it again. He's now 5-0 as a heavyweight, 23-0 overall, as another one bites the dust. He beat Alex